It's 9 p.m. Do you know where your key fob is?
Hey there, Nate Benson here, and welcome to the post-Thanksgiving edition of On the Agenda. I hope you left some room for dessert, because this week we're talking about PSLs and construction at the new Bills Stadium, plus a different saga, but it's one I followed for a few years. There's some new developments in the battle over two cobblestone district buildings, and a very special Letters to Nate this week from a loyal viewer who has nothing but nice things to say about me. Also, I bought a special vest for this episode, so let's get going. On the Agenda starts right now. The Buffalo Bills are certainly celebrating with news that more than 90% of those personal seat licenses have sold for the new stadium. The only way you can buy season tickets at the new stadium is by owning one of these PSLs. And with the team planning on selling more than 54,000 of them, it raises an interesting question. How many fans will be able to see a game if they don't have one? First, let me crank through the numbers. There's a total of 60,108 manifested seats at the new Highmark Stadium. 1,755 have been set aside for suite seats, and 3,725 have been set aside for visiting teams as well as community and marketing purposes. Add all those up and subtract from the total number of seats and you get 54,628. That's the total number of PSLs available at the new stadium. And as of September 30th, the Bills have sold, drumroll please, 48,620.
I'm not surprised in terms of the percentage sold, because you have the I need to be there factor, the novelty, whatever you want to call it.
Bills insider Vic Carucci says it's a testament to the popularity of the team.
A lot of people, and this is anecdotal from my end, just say they have to be a part of this, and it's maybe a community thought, whatever you want to call it, but very expensive and a big investment. And that part of it is a little surprising that I didn't know they'd get to this point when we had these conversations early on. But now that they're here, it's clear it's about that.
Even if those PSL prices have been a surprise to fans, the math doesn't lie. They're paying it.
It's a really good investment because of the potential to resell tickets to others, using Ticketmaster and making back that money that was poured into PSLs.
That's kind of the interesting aspect of all this. The Bills have not come out and said what the game plan is for single game tickets. We don't know, if you don't own a PSL, will you be able to buy a seat? I know there's some standing room available tickets in the new stadium, but they haven't released how many that's actually going to be. It could be 100, could be 2,000. We don't necessarily know. Does that leave some ambiguity in the air for fans of not knowing, well, if I don't have my PSL, I'm out of luck and I'm on the secondary market?
Well, I think people who go to these games are seasoned enough to know where to go to pursue a ticket, right? If it's buying from someone else, if it's not directly from the team. From the team's standpoint, I think they will make any and every ticket available they can, because the goal is to sell them all and sell and just keep selling and selling whatever they can. And if it's standing room, whatever it might be.
And the secondary market might be the only place fans can easily buy a seat for a single game at the new stadium. The Bills want to sell all 54,000 PSLs, and they haven't released details about any single game seats or even standing ticket options. Over the course of the last several days, Two on Your Side reached out to Bills officials to try and ask questions about single-game ticket plans at the new stadium. No one from the organization responded to our questions or even acknowledged our requests. NFL advisor and industry expert Mark Gannis says there will be high demand for games on the secondary market, and the reality is most tickets for NFL games are already purchased there.
90+% of all NFL tickets are sold via season tickets, whether they have PSLs or not. And so the way fans generally are able to buy individual game tickets are to go to the secondary ticket sites and buy tickets for that particular game. There are always tickets available. Part of the question is it at the price point that somebody wants to pay? And the first couple of years, the building is going to really attract a higher price. That's the reality of it. And the Bills are a very hot ticket right now. They're a great team. So that's also going to result in higher ticket prices.
Gannis says patience will be the key, possibly for the next couple of years, as demand for tickets to the new stadium will be high for a bit.
And the pricing will come down. It's the standard pattern in the NFL.
As for construction of the new stadium itself, the latest forensic analysis of progress at the site indicates that the project is 11.5% behind schedule as of the end of September. There's a lag in the data as it becomes available from New York State to the public. The Bills have been adamant that significant construction must be complete by next June in order for games to be played there next season. Gannis has seen and advised a lot of stadium construction projects during his career, and despite being behind schedule leading into winter,
And I fully expect they're going to be able to have virtually all, if not all of it done. But you don't have to have every amenity completed, especially for the preseason games. Maybe all the concession stands won't be done. Maybe all the delivery systems of the concessions may not be done. You could make some compromises, and then you make some judgments. You make judgments as to what kind of acceleration costs are you willing to pay to have those done. Also, keep something else in mind. You absolutely want to have the building open for full size, 65,000 people in, before a regular season NFL game, at least once, if not twice. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have all the events that you have planned for it. There are ways that you could adjust. You could also adjust schedule as you get to the preseason games. Maybe you do your preseason games later, your home preseason games later rather than earlier.
for several years, the city of Buffalo has been fighting with the owner of two Cobblestone District buildings, Daryl Carr. For almost 20 years, he has wanted to tear down 110 and 118 South Park Ave and construct a 50-story tower with 500 condo units and retail space. It's an ambitious plan that city leaders have called completely unrealistic. Several years ago, the city announced it would take the properties through eminent domain, and that sparked several different court battles. Recently, Carr won an appeal that could force the city to once and for all determine if he can legally tear them down. Cobblestone District building owner Daryl Carr is taking a bit of a victory lap on Thanksgiving Eve after the Appellate Division 4th Department reversed a previously dismissed lawsuit, and now Carr and the city will go to court over his desire to tear down 110 and 118 South Park Ave.
Any victory in these battles is good. We're very happy about the victory, and it sends it back where the city has to actually answer to our lawsuit.
But if you recall, the city was planning on moving ahead with trying to take the property from Carr. Back in February, city officials also took a victory lap, so to speak, when the 4th Department ruled that they could move forward with eminent domain proceedings against Carr. At the time, 9 months ago, I asked about the timeline to take those properties. What's the next step in the eminent domain process? It's got to get filed, I believe, with State Supreme Court.
Correct.
What's essentially the timeline? Like, how soon could the city take control of the property?
You know, we're gonna move as quickly as we possibly can. You know, every day matters when if you take into consideration the condition of the property. So we're gonna move as quickly as we can at any speed that the courts will allow us to do so.
But an interesting nugget was revealed in a different 4th Department decision rendered last week. In their decision, the justices outlined that, quote, the city has not yet commenced a proceeding to acquire the properties. So what happened? And why did the city not continue the eminent domain process? My colleague Claudine Ewing asked the acting mayor about that Wednesday morning.
Why hasn't the city filed eminent domain paperwork yet?
We are certainly talking about it. We'll continue to do that, whether it's Cobblestone, the Buffalo Grand. We're going to use any avenue, any mechanism we have at our disposal to make sure that we can make sure that these properties are productive. So if it's eminent domain or, again, different avenues that we have, we're going to hold people accountable. It can't continue. It's happened for too long that people let these buildings fall into disrepair. These couple of properties in particular, you've got the Cobblestone, a historic district, an historic building there, which could be a really contributing parcel to that neighborhood there, to that environment, and then Buffalo Grand, the largest hotel in downtown Buffalo, nearly 500 rooms that we desperately need to come online so we can attract different conventions and things of that nature and people to the city of Buffalo. So we'll continue to use any mechanism at our disposal to make sure we can bring those properties online.
While that's not exactly a clear answer from the acting mayor, I was told more information would be provided soon. With the 4th Department's decision last week, the city and Carr will now go back to court, possibly before the Christmas holiday, to argue the lawsuit he filed after the June 2024 fire. He applied for a demolition permit after that fire because more than 50% of the buildings were destroyed, and city code says he would be able to do that. However,
and the big contention was that the building wasn't made of wood, and they kept saying it's heavy timber, it's not wood, but my 6-year-old node says timber is wood, my 5-year-old.
and that's kind of a distinction in city code. There's wooden structures, like a house, things of that nature, and then there's obviously heavier timber structures, and the city said it was heavy timber, not wood.
Yes, but the statute clearly says that, a building that has a brick facade and a wooden structure interior, must be demolished if over 50% destroyed.
And the fire did that to your property.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Next on the agenda, we're talking to New York State Senator Rob Orr about how he and his colleagues have been shut out of the negotiations between the Seneca Nation and New York State. But first, a look at this weekend's weather. Welcome back. New York State Senator Rob Orr is a ranking member of the State Native American Relations Committee. Recently, my colleague and desk mate Dave McKinley talked with the senator about the stalled negotiations between the Seneca Nation and the state over a new gaming compact. According to the senator, lawmakers have been left in the dark.
Yeah, any news on the casino compact? Do you even get involved in that?
Well, I do get involved, not only because of my position on the committee, but really, I guess you could say as leader, but also as someone who represents, the Senecas, Niagara Falls. What I know of, it's not a good spot, and we're not in a spot where, at least I'm hearing anything positive. Now, sometimes, look, at negotiations can be funny. Sometimes they can get really bad right before there's an agreement, right? So, that I'm not saying that we can't get there, but we are going on more than a couple of years now with no successor agreement to the expired existing compact that affects Niagara Falls, it affects Niagara County, it affects Buffalo, and it affects Salamanca, as well as it affects the Senecas, who would, I'm sure, like to have some kind of long-term agreement with the state of New York. But at this juncture, what I've heard from the Senecas, both privately and publicly, I haven't heard anything from the governor. Maybe not surprising, but from the Senecas, it is not in a space where they feel we are close to an agreement. And I think that does not bode well, at least for an agreement in the short term. Maybe before we leave session in June, maybe they can make some headway.
And just to clarify, I mean, this pretty much negotiates between the governor's staff and the Seneca reps. They don't ever say, "Hey, Rob, sit in with us for a minute," do they?
No. And they should, though, Dave. But no, they never have. And in fairness, historically, that has always been the case. It has been, regardless of who the governor is, or this is sort of dealt with almost the way treaties between the United States and another country. The executive handles it, and then it goes to the legislature for approval once it's been negotiated. So we will, chances are, only see this once there's sort of an agreement in place, or at least the bones of an agreement in place. Again, I have good relations with the Senecas, and I talk to members of the council there, as well as the president's team. They don't, maybe share tales out of school, but they have told me, we're not at a close point. We're not in a good spot as far as getting to an agreement. That could change. But no, the legislature does not sit in on the direct negotiations between the Senecas and the executive.
If you thought I could go a week without talking about some sort of budget, well, you're out of your mind. Before the Thanksgiving holiday, the Buffalo Common Council passed an ambitious $95 million capital budget for the city. The wonderful Claudine Ewing broke down the ins and outs of that plan.
After all of the back and forth about the capital budget, lawmakers voted in favor of it, and with it comes something for every council district.
We're investing in our streets, our city buildings, essential equipment like plows and vehicles, and improvements to our police stations. Importantly, we're making investments into our Buffalo Public Schools. I have 2 students in Buffalo Public School high schools. I visit those facilities frequently. I know that they need work.
The $95 million capital budget allocates money to improve city infrastructure and quality of life.
There's more than $5 million to modernize community centers, modernizing their buildings, improving safety, expanding access to programming, along with HVAC, roofing, and interior upgrades at parks and recreational facilities citywide.
Parks, pools, cultural institutions, and libraries will get funding for improvements and repairs.
More than $15 million to support police, fire, and public works, from new fire apparatus and police vehicles to upgrades at district station houses across the city.
DPW will see funding for repairing sidewalks, resurfacing streets, and upgrading lighting. And as we hit the snow season, better snow fighting equipment.
Let me be clear that approving or authorizing these projects does not mean issuing the funds today. We retain the ability to time funding responsibly. We move forward when the city is ready and when each project is ready. With 97.1% of the Buffalo Public Schools being able to be reimbursed, the possibility of reconstituting the Joint School Construction Board means that we won't run into this issue again if the state approves. In addition to that, we do have some reimbursable projects on the city level, but to not include them in this current capital budget would be irresponsible for us. It would be something that would not be reflective of the people that we represent.
Buffalo schools are also getting a piece of the pie.
More than $55 million in improvements to Buffalo Public Schools facilities as well, reimbursed at up to 97% by New York State.
Last year, 21 schools were almost done. This funding will ensure completion.
Projects that address new lighting, new windows, new roofs, the foundation of healthy and safe buildings. The 2026 projects largely build upon that at an additional 17 schools.
On your side in Buffalo, Claudine Ewing, Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Claudine. As you may recall, projects from the 2025 capital budget were held up because of a legal fight between the council, administration, and city controller. Acting Mayor Scanlon also addressed whether or not a similar issue could happen with this capital budget.
I'm a little confused by why we're still in that situation. Unfortunately, we're still in that legal battle. I think it's important that we see that legal battle through so that we're setting precedent and people know who has what capacity, what roles when it comes, and what authority when it comes to the capital budget. It's very clear in our city charter, the Buffalo Common Council authorizes spending, and no one should be usurping the council's authority. And I think that's what happened here. But we cannot stop planning for the future. The council members, the Buffalo Public Schools leadership, myself, understand the needs of the city, our infrastructure, our facilities, our school buildings, our cultural institutions. We can't continue to plan for the future because one person is holding something up in the short term. We might run into a capacity issue next year because we missed out on an entire construction season this year, but as the majority leader said, this is the spending plan. So if there's a situation next year where maybe projects aren't ready because we don't have the capacity, they don't have to be bonded out right away.
Coming up on the agenda, a dear letter from a dear viewer who is going to get the attention they are seeking. We'll be right back after we pay a bill or two. When winter hits, so do you. You have 5 pairs of boots, 3 shovels, and trauma from 2014. Today, you'll stand in a snowbank and say, "This is nothing," while your eyelids freeze. Once again, it's time for my mother's favorite segment of the show. Let's open up this week's Letters to Nate. And in a very interesting turn of events this week, I was sent this letter, apparently airmailed. It was sent anonymously, and it reads, quote, "Your reporting is awful. You are not a true journalist. It is painful to watch you trying to do a news item. Reports are about the story, not your part in it. Buy some better suits, too. End quote. Lots to unpack here. First off, is this a haiku? Because it does not follow the classic 5-7-5 syllable pattern. Now, I did run it through our McKinley 3000 supercomputer to double check, and it said, quote, a haiku must follow a 5-7-5 syllable pattern in English. And this absolutely does not. Also, haikus usually are 3 lines, not 4, and they generally don't involve wardrobe notes. All right, well, listen. I never said I was good. I never once went on social media or even on air and said, you know what, I'm good at what I do. Now, perhaps the New York State Emmy Committee thinks I do. Also, the Regional Murrow Committee might think I do an okay job, but that's their opinion, and this is your opinion. It's a wonderful opinion. What I love about this letter, actually, is the time it took to send me some hate mail, essentially. You typed this out. It's centered. The font is terrible. And I know you can't see it. I'll put up a full screen. The font is not my preferable choice. It's centered in a way that is not aesthetically pleasing. But you printed this out. And then you got an airmail envelope, which I thought you only used when you send them via mail. But no, you sent this from Buffalo to Buffalo. So it's not even an actual airmail, piece of mail. So that's fantastic. And then you used a forever stamp, which cost you, how much is a stamp these days? How much can a banana cost, Michael? $10? I mean, this is, I really have to appreciate the effort you went through to send me this letter, because it shows that you're hate watching. And you know what? I can live with that. Remember, you can send me your emails at nathan.benson@wgrz.com or hit me up on Instagram at Nate Benson Reports. And now a very special gift before we wrap up tonight. Many of you have reacted very positively to my self-deprecating outtakes and bits that I've posted on social media and on the show recently. And since I decided to take a day off this week for the holiday, I'm light one news story, so I thought I'd fill some time with some of the outtakes from the first 10 episodes of The Agenda. Happy post-Thanksgiving. Hit that play button, Devin.
Like now?
Yeah, like right now would be. Okay, thank you. On The Agenda starts right now. Do that one more time. We do need to lubricate the wheel. It is squeaking. We don't do that? Okay. Gotta pay extra for that. On The Agenda starts right now. Now. Did you like the O in that? That was fantastic. All right.
That was great.
That was great. We do have a full special with all 3 candidates streaming on WGRZ+. WGRZ+. Right now. Whew, the first try. I mean, come on. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Let's not tell anybody. Alrighty, 3, 2. Thanks for capping off your week with me this week. Well, no, that's what I get. That's what I see what happens, Lebowski. See what happens. One more break before we wrap all of this up. But first, a look at the weekend traffic. Next on The Agenda, we're talking to the New York State. Cool. 3, 2. Conversations with the DOT about these listening sessions. I had that. Who wrote this? Did I write this? I'm an idiot. Coming up on The Agenda, we take a trip down memory lane when I reported from the airport ahead of Thanksgiving holiday. Thanks for capping off your week. Yeah, thanks for capping off your week with me. Why can I read that one? Listen, the first inning was great. Rest of the game, not so good. All right, 3, 2. Next week on The Agenda, news. It might be good, it might be bad. Based on the letter I got from that one viewer, I know I'll certainly be bad, but you get what you pay for. Am I wrong? Thanks again for watching. Remember, the news never stops on WGRZ+. I'm Nate Benson, and we'll see you at the next one. I'm gonna send Nate Benson a letter and tell him what I think about him. He knows he's bad. I already know I'm bad.